The 1949 exorcism on a teenage boy known only as Robbie Mannheim inspired the famous book and movie, The Exorcist. The 29-page diary of the event was recorded by Father Raymond Bishop. The words are not for the faint of heart.
That compels you. The power of Christ 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 compels you.
At midnight, the fathers planned to give R, the boy, Holy Communion, but Satan would have no part of it. Even while the institution of the Blessed Sacrament was explained to R, his body was badly scratched and branded. The word hell was printed on his chest and thigh.
Now that you have been introduced to the story, let's dive deeper.
The Exorcist, the true story of a demonic possession. It's 1949 in Cottage City, Maryland, a quiet suburb where the hum of daily life is suddenly shattered. A 14-year-old boy, known originally as Roland Doe, becomes the center of a nightmare that defies belief. Scratches echo from the walls, a disembodied voice mimics his dead aunt, and Roland's voice turns guttural, speaking words he shouldn't know, as a malevolent force takes hold. Over 2 harrowing months, Jesuit priests battle an unseen evil in a series of exorcisms that will go down in history, a case so chilling it inspired one of the most terrifying films ever made. Welcome to Legends Unveiled, where we unravel the deepest mysteries of history. Tonight, we step into the shadows of The Exorcist, the true story of a demonic possession. Scene 2, The Boy and His World, A Darkness Awakens. Cottage City, Maryland, in 1949, was a modest suburb, a place where families lived simple lives, and the post-war era promised a brighter future. Roland Doe, a 14-year-old boy, was an only child in a Lutheran household, shy and reserved, but deeply attached to his Aunt Harriet, a spiritualist who dabbled in the occult. Harriet taught Roland to use a Ouija board, a popular parlor game in the 1940s, but one feared by many as a gateway to dark forces, a belief fueled by the era's fascination with spiritualism. When Harriet passed away in early 1949, Roland's grief turned to terror. Strange phenomena began in his home, scratching noises in the walls, a portrait of Christ shaking violently, and a disembodied voice mimicking Harriet's laugh, chilling the family to their core. Roland's mother, a devout woman, feared her son was under attack, and his father, overwhelmed, sought answers as the darkness in their home grew stronger. Scene 3, The Disturbances Escalate, A Family in Crisis. As the phenomena worsened, Roland's bed shook violently at night. Objects flew across the room, a vase shattered against the wall, and Roland's behavior turned sinister. He screamed obscenities, his body contorted, and he recoiled from sacred objects. A crucifix burned his skin, leaving red welts. The family called in their Lutheran minister, Reverend Luther Miles Schulze, who spent a night with Roland and witnessed the unexplainable. The boy's bed rocked as if alive, and a chair slid across the floor. Schulze, shaken, believed this was beyond a poltergeist. He recommended they contact Catholic priests for an exorcism. The family moved to St. Louis, Missouri, to stay with relatives, hoping a new environment would stop the disturbances. But the word Louis appeared scratched on Roland's chest, a sinister prophecy, and the terror followed. Neighbors heard screams in the night, whispering of a cursed child as the family's desperation grew. Scene 4, The Exorcism Begins, A Battle with Evil. In late February 1949, Jesuit priests from St. Louis University, Reverend William S. Bowden, Reverend Walter Halloran, and Reverend Raymond Bishop stepped in. After consulting with the Archbishop, they received permission to perform an exorcism, a rare and sacred ritual. The exorcism began at the family's relative's home, but Roland's violence forced them to move to Alexian Brothers Hospital for safety. The ritual spanned over 2 months, with nightly sessions that tested the priest's faith. Roland spoke in Latin, a language he didn't know, spat at the priests with uncanny accuracy, and urinated in arcs to hit them. His growls filled the room with a sulphurous stench. Scratches appeared on his body, forming words like hell and go. His bed shook violently, and the air turned icy cold. Reverend Bowden, the lead exorcist, believed he was battling Satan himself, aging visibly under the strain, while Roland's mother wept, praying for her son's soul. Scene 5. The final confrontation, a miracle or a myth. After weeks of struggle, the exorcism reached its climax on April 18, 1949, Easter Monday, at the hospital. Roland's body contorted, his voice deepened, and he screamed, "I am St. Michael, and I command you, Satan, to leave this boy." A loud noise like a gunshot echoed through the room, and Roland fell silent. Moments later, he opened his eyes, smiled, and said, "He's gone." The priest declared the exorcism successful. The evil had been cast out. But doubts lingered. Reverend Halloran later admitted he wasn't convinced of full possession, noting Roland laughed during earlier sessions, suggesting he might have been faking. Others pointed to the lack of independent witnesses. Only the family and priests saw the worst phenomena. Could this have been a mental breakdown, amplified by religious fervor, or a true demonic possession? The battle for Roland's soul left the priests and the world forever changed. Scene 6. Theories, possession or psychology. The case of Roland Doe has been debated for decades. Let's explore the theories. Theory 1. Roland was possessed by a demon. The Ouija board opened a door to evil, and the priest's accounts, documented in Reverend Bishop's diary, describe phenomena, speaking in Latin, superhuman strength that defy explanation. The successful exorcism on Easter Monday, with St. Michael's intervention, supports this, as does the Catholic Church's rare approval of the ritual. Theory 2. Roland suffered from a psychological disorder, possibly schizophrenia or dissociative identity disorder. His grief over his aunt's death, combined with his family's belief in the occult, may have triggered a mental breakdown. The phenomena could be exaggerated by suggestible witnesses or staged by Roland, who smirked during some sessions. The lack of independent witnesses outside the family and priests raises questions. Theory 3. The truth lies in between. Roland may have experienced some unexplainable events, heightened by his emotional state, but the family and priests, steeped in religious belief, interpreted them as possession. The Ouija board's role remains a chilling mystery. Was this a battle with a demon, a regular spirit, or a battle with the mind? Scene 7. The Legacy, a story that haunts the world. The exorcism of Roland Doe inspired William Peter Blatty's 1971 novel, The Exorcist. After he read about the case in a 1949 Washington Post article, Blatty changed the boy to a girl, Reagan McNeil, and set the story in Georgetown, amplifying the horror with head spinning and green vomit. The 1973 film became a cultural phenomenon, sparking a surge in exorcism requests to the Catholic Church and shaping horror cinema for decades, from The Omen to The Conjuring. The family refused interviews. Moving away to protect Roland's identity, he reportedly lived a normal life, marrying and working as a professional, possibly a scientist, until his death in the early 2000s. The room at Alexian Brothers Hospital was sealed, and during its 1978 demolition, a fire broke out, yet the door to that room survived. Adding to the legend, the true story of the Exorcist remains a haunting enigma, a tale of faith, fear, and the unknown. Scene 8. Conclusion, a darkness that lingers. Over 70 years have passed since the exorcism of Roland Doe. Yet the story behind The Exorcist continues to captivate, a chilling reminder of the thin veil between our world and the unseen. Was Roland truly possessed by a demonic force, a victim of the Ouija board's dark power? Or was this a tragic case of psychological torment, misinterpreted through the lens of faith? The shadows of that 1949 battle linger, whispering questions that may never be answered. In a quiet Maryland suburb, a boy faced a darkness few can imagine, and the world has never forgotten. What do you think? Was the exorcism of Roland Doe a true encounter with evil, or a story shaped by fear and belief? Drop your theory in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more journeys into the unknown right here on Legends Unveiled.